68. I'm guessing that's about when it was. About Agape was formed in 1970, and we worked. So we talked with Judge Turner at the juvenile court, and he said, "I will help you if you want to keep children." I said, "We do. We want to help out with children." And we'd already had some other requests. We had Bobby and Tammy who came to us from their grandmother, and the grandmother was aged, and she said she just could not keep the children. And she took them to juvenile court, and Judge Turner told us about that, and so we went back to starting to foment the agency. And so we had several men that came to different congregations that came to help us to form Agape. Merle Haas was primarily the leading candidate, and we met in he had a store over on Airways, and we met in his property every Monday night until we could get the charter of incorporation set up. So before then, we had to have jurisdiction from Judge Turner to take those children. So he was very instrumental in helping us form Agape. Judge Turner was. And so we met every night, every Monday night at Merle Haas's building, and we developed the things that we had to have to get Agape chartered. And we started with, we submitted a proposal, and Ms. Lannis Turner, I think that was her name, Lannis Turner, she came to help us, and she was very helpful in getting the charter of incorporation and the bylaws and all approved by the state. And so we worked until we got the approval that we needed. After we got the charter of incorporation and the bylaws approved, she continued to stay with us. And it was interesting that one of the requirements that she had was that we had to have a hearing in Memphis, and we needed to invite all of the other people that we had child care, and we went to several places to invite them to come, and most of them came to the first session, and after that we had 2 or 3 sessions that were very important, and we had Judge Turner was on our side, and we knew that, and he was very helpful. And Ms. Lannis Turner, who was from the state, she was very helpful in getting the charter of incorporation approved. So we met, and we had the main 2 facilities that I can remember were juvenile court, and the Baptist had a big facility on Highway 72, and they came, and we had also people from the one.
Porter Leith.
No, Porter Leith came. They were in business then, and the Catholics,
Catholic Charities.
The Catholic churches had a thing, and they were well known. They'd been in business for 50, 75 years. And so there was not a group, not anyone in that group supported our request. They all said that they didn't need, that there was no need for the request to be honored. So we pushed and we pushed. We had a second meeting with those people, and there was two of them came. The Catholics came, and the people from Baptist Church came, and they still said that we didn't need any more facilities in Memphis. And so Port Elite came too, and they were very helpful. They supported us, and they were the only one that supported us in gaining a charter of incorporation for Agape. And so we pursued that, and the second or third time we met, we got approval. And Miss Young followed that track all the way back to Nashville to see that it was approved, and she called us when it was approved, and we were very thankful. And we had that procedure passed and behind us. That was the beginning of Agape. And we went to Nashville during that time, and before the Charter of Incorporation, we went to Nashville and met with our justice, and they had an Agape in Nashville, and we got a lot of help from him, and they gave us many things that they were using that had been approved, and we were able to use them, and that became the beginning of Agape.
So it started with some families at church
Right,
that had 5 children
right,
that was left, and you took in one, and some other members took in others. So now we're 2 years down the road, and you're incorporated.
right.
I'm sorry, and we may want to get at some point, get Carol's conversation
Yeah.
about Jimmy as well. So track where
Okay,
you go.
that's where we're going.
Okay.
is, your first child that you had was Jimmy, and so now you're incorporated in 1970. And in addition to, you never found out any more about Jimmy, but how long did you have Jimmy? And at the end of that, by the time you were incorporated, how many children were you serving at that time?
Well, I really don't know the answer to that because we don't have the records. But the Nine Hour Church was very, very instrumental in getting Agape started.
Which church was that?
Nine Hour Road Church of Christ.
Okay.
Now it's known as
Now it's
Forest
Forest
Hill.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, and we started buying houses around the property that Forest Hill had, and so where the first house we bought was on the northwest corner of the property, and we bought that house, and we made a family with 6 people could live in there. You know, that facility was approved by the state, and so that was the first building we bought, and we continued to buy buildings as they came available. So we bought several buildings. I think we had about 5 buildings when we left to go to Birmingham, and they continued to support Agape, and they